8 hybrid SUVs, one clear winner, and a twist you won't see coming. Because when Consumer Reports put the latest models through their brutal test program, some fan favorites slipped and a few underdogs punched way above their weight. The surprising part isn't who's fast or who's fancy, it's which ones will actually save you money and stress for years. And there's one decision, made before you even buy, that quietly decides if a plug-in hybrid is genius or a waste. We'll get there. But first, how did we end up here? 2.5 decades ago, hybrids were a punchline. In 1999 and 2000, the first Toyota Prius and Honda Insight landed in the US with tiny engines, weird shapes, and a promise: use a battery and electric motor to help the gas engine so you burn less fuel. People said the batteries would die, the drive would be dull, and the tech was too complex. Then, cab drivers in New York started running early escape hybrids for 200,000 miles. Toyota's Prius taxis hit 300,000 miles with original hybrid systems. Brake pads lasted absurdly long because hybrids use the electric motor to slow the car and charge the battery. That feature is called regenerative braking. It sounds fancy, but it's simple. When you lift off, the motor flips into generator mode, recovers energy, and reduces brake wear. Instead of wasting heat, you store it. That was the first quiet proof that hybrids weren't just a gimmick. They were a better way to commute. SUVs crashed the hybrid party in the mid-2000s. The Ford Escape Hybrid arrived in 2005 and proved you could get SUV utility and Prius-like efficiency. Toyota followed with the Highlander Hybrid and Lexus RX 400h, and here's where it gets wild. The most durable hybrids use Toyota's eCVT, a gearless power split device that blends gas and electric power with no clutches to wear. It's not a rubber band as some people joke. It's a planetary gear set and 2 motors doing math. No traditional transmission shifting, fewer parts to brake, less heat, less stress. That design set the reliability tone we still see today. At the same time, Consumer Reports changed the way buyers trusted cars. They didn't take press cars. They bought hundreds of vehicles anonymously from dealers and put them through the ringer at their own auto test center. They measured braking distance on different surfaces, emergency handling, lane change speed, acceleration, cabin noise, ride comfort, seat comfort, headlights, and how the controls actually work when you're tired and it's raining. They also collected detailed reliability data from hundreds of thousands of real owners. Those surveys track problems by system, engine, transmission, in-car electronics, paint and trim, climate control, hybrid drive, and more. Then they looked at crash test results from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and the federal government, plus whether advanced safety systems like automatic emergency braking actually work well in the real world. That full picture leads to a score, and that score often warns you away from cars that look great on paper but are trouble in real life. Now fast forward to 2025. Gas is still not cheap. The SUV is still king. Regulations push automakers to cut emissions, and drivers want better mileage without giving up space or all-wheel drive. That set the stage for the modern hybrid SUV, the do-it-all daily driver that doesn't feel like a compromise. But wait, this next part changes everything. Not all hybrid SUVs are equal. There are regular hybrids and plug-in hybrids. A regular hybrid can't be plugged in. It uses a small battery to help the engine, and often moves the car at low speed, but it fills itself while you drive. A plug-in hybrid has a much bigger battery you charge from a wall. It can drive on electricity alone for a while, usually between 30 and 50 miles depending on the model. After the battery runs low, it acts like a normal hybrid. On paper, plug-in hybrids sound perfect. In practice, they are heavier, more complex, and on average have had more issues than simple hybrids. The upside is huge if you plug in at home. The downside is real if you don't. Keep that in the back of your mind, because it turns a couple of these SUVs from heroes into headaches. So which ones actually deliver? Let's walk through the 8 that make sense and where they fit in your life. Then we'll wrap with what to buy based on how you drive, and the one question you must answer before you sign anything. We start with the Kia Sportage Hybrid. This is the quiet achiever. It looks sharp, but the real story is inside. The back seat is big, even for adults. The cargo area is huge for the class, so strollers, suitcases, and camping gear fit without a game of Tetris. The hybrid uses a 1.6-liter turbo engine with an electric motor for a combined output that feels smooth and easy in daily driving. If you pick front-wheel drive, the EPA numbers are wild for a compact SUV, about 43 miles per gallon combined. That's a number you use to get in a small car, not a roomy crossover. Add all-wheel drive and it drops to the high 30s. Still very good, but now you see the hybrid math at work. The extra weight and traction hardware cost you a few miles per gallon. If you live in a snow state, that trade is worth it. If not, front-wheel drive saves fuel and money. The ride is calm. The cabin is quiet. If you want something to carve up mountain roads, this isn't the one. It's built for comfort first. The value is strong too. Kia's powertrain warranty runs long, and they've been getting more consistent with quality. This is the hybrid you buy when you want great mileage and space without the price getting out of hand. Slide over to the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. It shares a lot with the Sportage under the skin, but the pitch is different. The Tucson Hybrid is the value play that feels more expensive than it is. The latest refresh brings back more physical buttons so you aren't digging through sub-menus to turn on the heat. That alone makes living with it easier day to day. The blue trim with all-wheel drive does a neat trick. It returns around 38 miles per gallon in the city, 38 on the highway, and 38 combined. The same number everywhere. That means you don't need to game the system to see good results. You just drive it. The cabin is quiet. The seats are supportive. Tech features come in generous doses without forcing you to pay for a top trim. As for long-term durability, Hyundai has made big strides, and the warranty helps cover that peace of mind gap versus a Toyota. If you care about comfort and value, the Tucson Hybrid is hard to beat. And then there's the bar everyone else checks themselves against, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. This one is the reliable workhorse. The formula is simple and well-proven. A 2.5-liter engine with Toyota's hybrid system and an electric motor on the rear axle gives you electronic all-wheel drive without a drive shaft running down the car. That packaging saves weight and space. It also reacts fast when the front wheels slip on ice or wet leaves. Expect around 40 miles per gallon combined, with numbers slightly higher in city driving because the hybrid gets to do more work at low speeds. The big wins here are reliability and resale value. Toyota hybrids are known to run long with few surprises. And when you go to sell one, the market pays up. The trade-off? The ride is a bit firm, and the interior, while improved in recent years, is not the flashiest. The controls make sense. The safety systems work well, and you don't have to babysit it. If you want a sure thing that just works, the RAV4 Hybrid remains a top pick. If you want the same no-drama vibe, but with a cabin that feels more like a smart tool than a gadget show, the Honda CR-V Hybrid is your lane. The latest generation focused on the basics. Seat comfort, visibility, storage everywhere you need it. A gentle, natural steering feel. If that sounds boring, wait until you live with it. This is the SUV that makes daily driving easy. With front-wheel drive, you're looking at around 40 miles per gallon combined. With all-wheel drive, it drops to the high 30s. The hybrid system is tuned for smoothness, and Honda's build quality shines through in the way doors close, controls move, and the cabin stays quiet on long drives. Safety is strong, and even under stricter testing updates, it holds up well. Here's the simple read. If you walk into a Hyundai or Kia showroom, you might see bigger screens or flashier lighting. But if you want something that just quietly keeps doing its job year after year, with low running costs, the CR-V Hybrid is that steady choice. Now let's take a curveball into luxury and speed. The BMW X5 xDrive 50e plug-in hybrid. You thought that was big? Try this. The X5 50e can drive roughly 40 miles on electricity if you start with a full charge. For many people, that covers the daily commute and errands without ever waking up the gas engine. Then, when you hit the highway for a weekend trip, it flips to hybrid mode and gets solid fuel economy for a big, heavy SUV. And when you need to merge or pass, it has real punch. The combined output is way up there. The cabin is classic BMW luxury now, tight build, high-quality materials, crisp screens, and seats that make long drives feel short. Handling is better than you expect from an SUV this size. But what if I told you the big story isn't speed, it's ownership? Luxury means higher parts prices, higher labor costs, and more complex tech. Plug-in hybrids also add weight, wiring, and cooling systems for the battery and electronics. Consumer Reports data shows plug-in hybrids have more issues on average than regular hybrids. BMW has improved, but it varies by model and year. If you're ready for premium upkeep and you will plug in at home, the X5 50e is a sweet spot. If not, you might be paying extra for a feature you won't use. Back to the quiet side of luxury, the Lexus NX Hybrid. The 350h is the one to look at if you want Lexus calm without Lexus gas bills. The system blends an efficient 4-cylinder with electric motors for a driving feel that is relaxed, quiet, and tidy. The mileage is excellent for a luxury compact SUV, and the ride smooths out cracked pavement. The cabin finally has an infotainment system that makes sense, with responsive touch and voice controls that don't make you memorize weird commands. Safety performance and driver assist tuning are strong. If you want more electric range, the NX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid adds about the high 30s in miles on a full charge, enough for most daily trips to be gas-free. Just remember the rule. Only pick the plug-in version if you'll plug it in most nights. Otherwise, the 350h gives you nearly all the upside without extra complexity or cost. Now let's talk about the compact plug-in that plays in a different league. The Toyota RAV4 Plug-in Hybrid. In past years, this was called the RAV4 Prime. The big idea hasn't changed. You get one of the highest electric ranges of any plug-in hybrid SUV, around 42 miles. That single number changes how it feels to own this car. If you drive, say, 30 miles per day round trip, you can do that on electricity and only burn gas on the weekend. You can charge it on a standard 120-volt outlet overnight. That's called level 1 charging. It's slow but simple. If you install a level 2 home charger on a 240-volt circuit, you can fully charge the battery in a few hours. In daily use, the RAV4 plug-in is quick. The extra electric power gives it strong acceleration. On a family road trip with the battery used up, it behaves like a regular hybrid and returns high 30s miles per gallon. And here's where it gets wild. The math is very real. Say you drive 15,000 miles a year. If your old SUV got 28 miles per gallon and you switch to a hybrid that gets 40, you'll save about 160 gallons of gas annually. At $3.75 per gallon, that's around $600 per year. Over 3 years, about $1,800. Now, if many of those miles are done on electricity at home, the savings can be even bigger. If your power rate is 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and a typical charge uses about 15 kilowatt hours for roughly 40 miles, that's about $2.25 in electricity to go the same distance that might cost $5 to $6 in gas. But wait, this next part changes everything. If you can't plug in where you park, a plug-in hybrid can be a worse deal than a regular hybrid. The extra weight hurts gas mileage once the battery is empty. The price is higher, and the complexity means more things to fail. Toyota does better than most on reliability here, but the rule stands. Be honest about your charging. Do you have a garage or a driveway? Can you install a charger or at least use an outlet? Does your apartment allow it? If yes, the RAV4 plug-in is a money-saving, fuel-sipping rocket. If not, the regular RAV4 Hybrid is the smarter buy. And then there's the three-row surprise. The Toyota Highlander Hybrid. A big family SUV that returns about mid-30s miles per gallon combined sounds like a typo. It isn't. You're looking at roughly 35 combined, depending on the setup. For context, many non-hybrid three-row SUVs sit in the low to mid-20s. That means you can haul kids, adults, luggage, and still feel like you're driving something sensible. On a long highway slog, the range on a single tank is excellent. That means fewer fuel stops on family road trips. The hybrid powertrain in the Highlander leans into efficiency at normal speeds, which is where families actually drive. Merging is steady. Passing is fine. Around town, it glides quietly with the electric motor doing a lot of the work in stop and go. The safety gear is robust, and crash test performance is strong across the board. The third row isn't a limo. Adults will feel tight back there on long rides. If you need a bigger third row, Toyota's Grand Highlander exists with more space, though you give up some miles per gallon. But for efficiency, reliability, and low running costs in a family hauler, the Highlander Hybrid hits the bullseye. That's the snapshot of 8 models that rise above the noise. But let me tell you this, the real story isn't just in the spec sheets. It's in what Consumer Reports data and owner feedback say about living with these cars for years. And it starts with a truth most people miss. Regular hybrids are winning the reliability game right now. Over the last few years of owner surveys, standard hybrids have had fewer problems on average than both plug-in hybrids and gas-only cars. That flips the old myth on its head. The hybrid system itself is not the weak link. In many brands, it's the in-car electronics, the screens, the sensors, and the software that create headaches. Meanwhile, the eCVT in many Toyota hybrids has fewer wear parts than a traditional automatic. The batteries in modern hybrids are liquid-cooled, not sitting there roasting. And warranties are long. Most hybrid batteries have coverage of at least 8 years or 100,000 miles. In some states that follow certain emissions rules, hybrid battery coverage stretches to 10 years or 150,000 miles. That does not mean hybrids never fail, but it means the risk is lower than the rumors suggest. So why do plug-in hybrids score worse on average? It's not because the concept is bad. It's because there's more to go wrong. You're adding a bigger battery, a charging system, high-voltage cabling, more cooling loops, and often even more complex packaging to fit it all. Weight goes up, tires wear faster, suspension bits work harder. If the brand already struggles with infotainment or driver assist software, all that complexity stacks. Again, this isn't a rule against plugins. It's a nudge to be picky. Toyota's plugins tend to be solid. BMW's has improved. Some others not so much. Your best move is to check the specific model year's reliability data and owner comments. That's the Consumer Reports edge. They track problems by model year, not just by nameplate. Let's zoom in on a few details that matter more than you think. All-wheel drive? It's a comfort feature for many buyers. It helps in snow and in wet. In hybrids like the RAV4 and Highlander, all-wheel drive is often electric. There is a small motor that powers the rear wheels when needed. There's no big drive shaft splitting the car in half. That saves space and weight, and it allows all-wheel drive to react fast. The MPG penalty versus front-wheel drive exists, but it isn't brutal like it used to be. Expect a few miles per gallon difference. If you live where winter is real, it's worth it. Pair it with good winter tires, and you'll cruise past stuck cars like it's no big deal. Next, transmissions. Toyota and Lexus hybrids use that power split system we talked about. It doesn't shift in the traditional sense. Hyundai and Kia hybrids use a 6-speed automatic with an electric motor sandwiched in, and a clever clutch that allows for electric-only creeping. The Hyundai and Kia setup feels more like a normal automatic. You feel shifts. Some drivers prefer that. The Toyota setup is smoother with a steady surge of power. Neither is wrong. Just know what you like. Charging and cost for plug-ins. A plug-in hybrid on a level 1 outlet adds only a few miles of range per hour. But parked overnight, that's enough for many commutes. A level 2 home charger is the move if you want to wake up full every morning, or do multiple trips in a day without burning gas. Electricity prices vary. If you pay 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and your plug-in uses about 15 to 20 kilowatt hours to charge from empty, one full charge costs $2.25 to $3 and gets you roughly 35 to 45 miles. Compare that to burning a gallon of gas for the same distance. If gas is above $3 a gallon, the math favors plugging in. If your utility offers time-of-use plans, charging at night can cut that even more. Incentives are the bonus round. Some plug-in hybrids may qualify for federal or state incentives, but the rules are strict now. It depends on where the car is built and where key battery materials come from. Use the official tool or check the VIN with the dealer to confirm. Local utility rebates for home chargers are also a thing in many areas. Safety isn't just stars and badges. The latest IIHS tests include tougher side impacts and nighttime pedestrian detection. This matters because many collisions happen at night and at intersections. Cars like the RAV4, CR-V, and Lexus NX have strong track records here. They also have driver assist systems that are tuned to help rather than nag. The goal is not to drive for you. It's to catch a mistake once in a while and reduce the risk of a crash. Blind spot warning and rear cross traffic alert are worth making sure you have, especially on family cars. Good headlights are huge. Look for LED headlights with good ratings. Seeing a deer a second earlier can be the difference between a scare and a tow truck. Now money. We already walked through one simple fuel cost example. Let's add a bit more context. Depreciation is the biggest cost in the first few years. Toyota hybrids tend to hold their value better than most competitors. That cushions you if you sell in 3 to 5 years. Maintenance costs on hybrids can be lower than gas only, because there's less brake wear and in some setups no traditional transmission fluid replacement at short intervals. Insurance varies by model, so it pays to get a quote before you buy. Tires are a real cost on heavy plug-in hybrids and luxury SUVs. Budget for good ones. They affect range, braking, and noise. Alright, you get the idea. But it gets crazier when you match the right SUV to the right life. This is where people either love their car or regret it. So here's the simple playbook, drawn straight from what the testing and the owner data keep showing. If you want maximum MPG for a low price and you need a big back seat and cargo space and a small footprint, the Kia Sportage Hybrid should be on your list. If you want a quieter cabin, an even more comfortable ride, and a bunch of features for the money with the same basic powertrain, the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid leans value without feeling cheap. If you want a sure bet for long-term use and easy nationwide service, go RAV4 Hybrid. If you want the most refined daily driver feel in this class with excellent storage and smart ergonomics, the Honda CR-V Hybrid has your back. If you want luxury that can do most of your daily miles on electricity, the BMW X5 50e gives you the experience, but go in with eyes open on ownership costs and be sure you'll plug in. If you want quiet luxury with top-tier reliability, the Lexus NX 350h is the safer, simpler choice. The 450h Plus is great if you will plug in most nights. If you want a compact SUV that can operate like an EV most days and a hybrid on road trips, the RAV4 plug-in hybrid is the standout, if and only if you can charge at home. And if you need 3 rows and want to crush your fuel bill without crushing your soul at the pump, the Highlander Hybrid is the family move. You might be thinking, what about the Ford Escape Hybrid? Or the Toyota Venza? Or the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV? They all have roles. The Escape Hybrid is efficient and often discounted. The Venza is a comfy 2-row with a plush ride. The Outlander PHEV can do real off-road-ish stuff with a surprising electric range for its size. But when you stack everything, reliability, fuel economy, safety, drivability, and owner happiness against real-world data, these 8 models form the safest list for most buyers in 2025. Before we close, there's one more piece of the story that explains why this moment feels different. Hybrids once meant compromise. You accepted slow acceleration and buzzy engines to save gas. Today, that trade-off is smaller, sometimes gone. The Sportage and Tucson are quiet cruisers. The RAV4 Hybrid is quicker than the old V6 crossovers of the 2000s in many daily situations because the electric motors fill in instantly. The RAV4 plug-in will shock you at a stoplight. The X5 50e is a genuine performance machine when you want it to be. The Highlander Hybrid lets you drive a big family SUV without feeling guilty at every fill-up. That shift didn't happen by accident. It happened because hybrid systems got smarter, batteries got better, and automakers learned where to put the money. And the data from owners millions of miles of it pushed the industry to fix what actually breaks, not just what looks good in a brochure. So here's the final curiosity loop we opened at the start: which hybrid SUV will actually save you money and stress for years? The answer isn't one car. It's the discipline to buy the right one for how you live. If you can plug in at home and you drive less than 40 miles most days, a plug-in like the RAV4 plug-in or the Lexus NX 450h Plus turns your gas station visits into monthly events. If you can't plug in, stick to a regular hybrid. A RAV4 Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, Sportage Hybrid, or Tucson Hybrid will cut your fuel bill without adding complexity. If you need space for 7 or 8 and you don't want to spend like you own a gas station, the Highlander Hybrid is the safe family bet. If you want luxury and performance with real electric range, the BMW X5 50e is the one. Just be ready for premium upkeep. That's it. No fluff, no gimmicks. Match the car to your life. Check the reliability and safety scores for the exact model year. Make sure the controls make sense to you on a test drive. Confirm you can charge if you're going plug-in. And remember, the point is not just to save fuel this month, it's to make your life easier for years. And here's where it gets wild, one last time. We started with 8 hybrid SUVs and a twist. The twist is not which badge is on the grille, it's that the biggest savings come from decisions you make before day one. Front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Regular hybrid or plug-in. Home charging or not. When you line those up right, the consumer reports, test scores, and owner data stop being abstract. They become your reality. You spend less on gas. You spend less time at service. You avoid the models that drive owners crazy, and you pick the one that feels like it was built for how you actually drive. If you do that, the result won't surprise you at all. It will be the quietest kind of win. A full tank that lasts longer. A car that starts every morning without drama. A cabin that stays calm in traffic. And an SUV that years from now still feels like the smartest buy you ever made.